Hey everybody, this is V with Ivy's Lupus Life, and today I want to do a part 8, which is about my support system. I just want to talk about how important a support system is and how beneficial a support system can be. So, for those who may not have a support system, they may not have a solid support system. Hopefully you can take these videos as a way, I guess you can consider a support system. Um, Basically saying that with these videos, I know it's my life, it's my story. I'm going to tell it the way I tell it. I did mention in the very first video that I'm going to be as transparent as possible, to tell my truth. It's creative therapy for me, as well as hopefully anybody who's watching, it would help them as well. Whether or not they're going through the medical history that I've gone through, whether it be similar or whether they're just going through something else completely different in life, but basically to let you know that, or my overall message is that no one fights alone. You are not in this alone. I know this is something that I have always known in terms of having a support system. However, it's something that's been very difficult to embrace to a certain degree. Um, so with that being said, I just want to give a disclaimer first and foremost. Um, if I forget to mention your name in this video as part of my support system, it's not intentional. I have a very big support system. I don't mean to leave anybody out, but in the event that I do, my apologies. I see a patch of gray here. It's terrible. My life is stressful, so I'm getting gray early. So basically my support system. My support system consists, just to kind of give a few, several. The support system would basically entail, of course, my husband. It's my number one supporter. My parents, my mother-in-law, my siblings, the 4 of them, as well as my adopted sibling, I should say, my best friend, which I've known her well over 20 years. So, them, my daughter's godmother, my cousin, my aunt, my fellow cancer sister, really good friend, Artisha. She gave me authorization to name drop. My coworkers, including the management of my job. Specifically, well, not specifically, but for sure, I want to take the time to mention regarding coworkers. There are 2, or actually 3 in particular, that I really do need to give a shout out. In terms of, one of them is in another state, and although we are in different states, she's always made herself available for me to talk to, and vice versa. She always gives uplifting words, in which I truly appreciate that. She never lets me forget that. She tells me all the time that I am a great mother, a wife, coworker, friend, sister, or whatever the case may be. She's always giving me uplifting words. The other one used to be here in my city, and she moved out of state. She also is another one that gives positive words, uplifting and encouraging words, and I definitely appreciate that. And she also makes herself available if I need to talk. The third person, she is here in my city, but she's one of those type of people where she doesn't even have to say anything. She gives off those type of positive vibes. If there's a time where I'm having a bad day at work, or something outside of work is bothering me, or maybe something with family that's bothering me or affecting me or something like that, I can just go to her desk and just stand there. We don't have to speak. She just has positive vibes. Her just saying hi is so positive. So I just want to take the time to thank those three for sure when it comes to work. Um, Also, I want to thank, which you never really think sometimes in certain relationships or friendships will be forged off something that you don't really think about, such as my daughter, her friend at school, or one of her best friends at school. I developed a friendship with her mother, and she's also been great. She's taken my child off my hands for me in the past, if need be. So I want to thank her also. Um, who else am I missing? Again, I'm sorry if I missed anybody. It'll come back to me. But anyway, so again, having a support system is very important. It's very helpful in like the healing process and the dealing process of whatever it is that you're going through. Now, you do also have to understand that when it comes to a support system, things work both ways. And it can be very therapeutic for you, or at least it's therapeutic for me, in a sense, to say that I pride myself in making sure that I return the favor and I am definitely available, in any way that I can help when it comes to other people. Whether it be my siblings, my parents, a friend, whatever the case may be. I, make sure that I am available for that. If I have a way to help, then I will do that. That's another one. My daughter's former fellow dance mate or whatever, but they're still really, really, really good friends right now. But her mom developed a relationship with her mom as well, and a really good friendship, and she helps me, I help her. It's a really good support system or whatever. She may not necessarily have all the resources, but she considers my family like her adopted family, so to speak. But again, a good support system is definitely something that I feel like everybody should have, whether it be one person or 50 people or 5 people or whatever the case may be. I just feel like everybody should have a solid support system. And again, some people you may not necessarily be able to relate to, but sometimes it's good to have a sounding board. Like I've expressed to my siblings before that, you're not going through what I go through. So some things I just can't necessarily talk to you about. But sometimes if I want to vent, you being there for me to vent is definitely appreciated. Some people such as my friend Artisha, which is my cancer sister, my aunt who has lupus, my cousin who has Crohn's. They are my support system, but at the same time, I can relate to them when it comes to the things that I deal with. Although not everything we go through is the exact same, but the struggle, the emotional struggle, the mental struggle, the physical struggle with things, they are similar in a lot of ways. So that's always a good system to have. When it comes to like my parents and my mother-in-law, anytime I call them, just if I need anything, they are there, and it's greatly appreciated. They call and they check on me or whatever. And everybody has their own way of supporting. Like my dad, I'm a lot like my dad. We're not very emotional people or anything like that, but if I ever need a laugh, for sure that's who I'm going to. If somebody around me needs me or they're having a hard time or whatever, I'm going to do my best to make them laugh. My mom, as my cousin say, bless her heart and all her body parts. I call her the ride or die. She rides or die for her kids, regardless. She'll pull up in some basketball shorts, ugly Christmas sweater, and some riding boots to protect her kids. She don't care what's going on. I believe that she has a Batmobile engine in every vehicle. I mean, hell, it's been times where my daughter might have fallen. Me and my mom are standing there. She basically pushed me out of the way, like, let me get her. But she don't want me to freak out or whatever, or have seizures or whatnot. But again, anything that I need, they are always there. Same with my siblings, even though they may not necessarily go through what I go through or at all, um, they carry that burden with them, and they've expressed that before. They feel pain just like I feel. At least they feel a different type of pain. But either way, like I said, I can call them and they are there quick, fast, in a hurry, regardless of the situation. Um, it's just, it's, again, I want to take this video for sure to say thank you. You do not know the depths of my appreciation, so I'm letting you know, thank you. Most definitely thank you. It is greatly appreciated, greatly needed. For those people out there who feel like they don't have a support system, even if you're in a different state, you can always, reach out to me, comment on my video, whatever. If you have a channel I can subscribe to, you can subscribe to mine. Maybe these videos are helpful to you, and it's some form of support. This is creative therapy for me, and I found that I am getting more comfortable because I have a support system of people who actually look at the videos, for one, and they call me and say, I didn't know you were going through these things. That's a form of support, which I appreciate. I actually, even on Facebook, I am in 2 different groups in Facebook, one of which is Lupus Laughs, and that's more of a joking page. Like, you're not allowed to talk about your illness. You're not allowed to talk about anything medically that's wrong. You're not allowed to talk about. It's strictly laughs about anything. So it gives you a reprieve throughout the day to say, let me just take some time to laugh. So that's one of the ways that I have a support system or a support group. It's another group that I'm in. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But whatever the case may be, it's more of a structured, I guess you can say, support system, because even though we get like a few chuckles, but a lot of it is where we're able to release some of the things that we're feeling, and know for sure that there are other people out there who are definitely going through some of the things that you're going through, and you can talk to them, directly or whatnot. So there are Facebook groups out there if you want to do something like that. This is going to sound really odd, but I remember I had a doctor's appointment, and I have this struggle with eating. I don't overeat. I don't eat a lot of sweets or anything like that. I don't overindulge. My problem is I do not eat enough. Okay, and it's not that I'm not hungry or anything like that. I don't have a taste for anything. I just don't have a desire to eat. And if I do get hungry, I don't ever really have a taste for anything. I just don't want to be hungry anymore. So surprisingly, she told me that I have some form of an eating disorder. As weird as it sounds, most people associate an eating disorder with bulimia or anorexia or something like that. But apparently there are different types out there. I did not know. So she wanted me to join a support group for that. Now, I personally don't feel like I have an eating disorder. I just don't get hungry. But they've checked my thyroid and everything else, And, that's actually another person that I wanted to say thank you to as far as support, is because I talked to my primary, and I can be very candid with her, as you should with any doctor. But even aside from that, I have her cell phone number. That's how bad it is. But again, she knows who I am, and she is always trying to find a way to help me. Not medicines that will just treat my symptoms or whatever, but a holistic way for me to help deal with these things. So I appreciate her for that, because I really do feel like she goes above and beyond what she, what her job is. But again, back to the whole support thing, the whole support system with the Facebook groups and stuff like that. That is also another way for you to have some type of support. especially if you don't have somebody with you that's close to you or locally or something like that. One thing I like to say again, no one fights alone. I don't ever want anybody to think that they are alone. Something that I am learning and something that my therapist has helped me learn is that even though I've always said that no one fights alone, I have this thing where I feel like a burden on people medically. Even though I know I can call certain people, it's still I start to feel like a burden or whatever. But again, this is where the support system comes in, and they do a lot of reassuring that I'm not a burden. If I need help with anything, just by all means let them know, and they will come do that. I remember last year I had surgery, and I had an oophorectomy, which basically they yanked some more of my innards out, and they took my ovaries because I kept having these recurring ovarian cysts that were really painful. Come to find out, even though I had a hysterectomy in 2015, I had endometriosis. So every month, basically, I was internally bleeding into this cyst, which I didn't know the endometriosis is stemmed from the ovaries, not the uterus. Ladies, apparently it's ovarian cyst 101. Cysts are very common in women, but not all women, or a small percentage of them, deal with what I dealt with. But anyway, so I remember I had surgery and I was down and out, and my daughter's friend from school, her mother, offered to come and clean up for me since I was down and out. Things like that I appreciate. Sometimes it's just the small gestures. My husband's best friend, he even offers to come and if I need anything, and anything, if I need him to bring me something to eat or whatever the case may be. Multiple times he's done that. Every time I have surgery, he does that. When my husband in his accident, he did that. And again, that's another thing as far as support system goes. My dad, I can relate to him. He was a really good, solid factor in my life in terms of when my husband had his motorcycle accident. He coded, flatlined in front of me. I was able to call my dad, who had kind of dealt with that with his mother, because he saw his mother flatline also in front of him. My parents even both were great because they kept my daughter throughout that time, and in more ways than one, more ways than you can even imagine. My parents have been there for me, as well as again my mother-in-law, in-laws in general as well. So, and those are some of the things that I've experienced when it comes to a support system. I don't want anybody to ever feel slighted because, I may have had like a close relationship with certain people, and, people start to run in different circles. Sometimes that's just life or whatever. And you connect with different people. So like my cousin, for instance, I've known her for years, oddly enough. I really wasn't that fond of her when I first met her, which is my husband's cousin, but still family regardless. She wasn't my favorite person at first, but it was just minor details, as she says. Anyway, it wasn't anything serious or crucial or whatnot, but either way, we ended up getting close. Again, this is the one who has Crohn's or whatever, so we can relate to each other a lot. But again, so where it might be one person I was close to, and I may not necessarily talk to as much anymore as time went on, and a lot of the different things that I started to experience. I can still talk to them about other things, but certain stuff I just can't talk to them about anymore. And sometimes you may end up migrating to someone else in terms of talking about certain things. So like with my cousin, I can talk to her because even though we have two different diseases, they're still very similar. They're both autoimmune diseases. So a lot of the adverse effects, we deal with the same thing. As a matter of fact, we see the same GI. She has Crohn's, but in addition to everything else that I have going on, all the surgeries that I have, also have IBS. Not cool. But again, I can talk to her. I can talk to my aunt who has lupus. I can talk to my cancer sister about things, and then I may have, say for instance, if I call my best friend, she can't necessarily relate to what I go through. However, she has been also a fixture in my life. I've been friends with her for well over 20 years, and I know I can bounce things off of her. She could just listen, gives me advice about certain things that, she can relate to or whatever. But again, definitely a fixture in my life when it comes to a support system or whatever. When I found out I had cancer, she took it very hard as well. Again, that's basically my sister. But anyway, so the support systems, very important. Don't ever feel like you are alone in any capacity, because you are not. As a matter of fact, I remember one day my husband was DJing at a bar that he normally DJs at or whatever. But this particular day, I saw a woman and she was talking to a few other people. And I don't know the lady or anything like that, but I saw she had on a shirt. And it was a cancer shirt, cancer awareness shirt. But I couldn't really tell whether or not, she had cancer or anything like that, or maybe it was just a shirt that she was wearing. But something in me, I felt compelled to just go and talk to her. And, I was just telling her I like her shirt, and just, it was kind of like the segue. And she tells me that, she has cancer and everything. She has breast cancer. And she said it's something that she recently found out, but she's going through all this treatment, and she told me she is just scared. And I let her know and say, don't be scared. I get it that it is a scary time. However, no one fights alone. And she hugged me. She hugged me so tight. She did not want to let me go, and she cried on my shoulder. It's a little weird because, I don't do other people's bodily fluids, but nonetheless, I get the situation. So I just let her hug me or whatever. I just felt like she needed that at that time. And while she has, I guess, a support system, again, I don't know this woman like that, but I did exchange numbers with her. And I talk to her every now and then. I send her a text, say, hey, how are you doing? Just checking on you and things like that. And whenever I do that, she expresses how grateful she is for me to do that. It's small things to just remind somebody that you're not alone. So, again, sometimes you don't have to talk to people all the time. Sometimes a simple phone call would suffice. Say, hey, I'm just checking on you, making sure you're still alive, well, and breathing. So it's not one of those things where I have to be, you have to be at somebody's beck and call. I don't ever want anybody to feel like that's the case. Sometimes it's just you being there, or you sending a text, or you sending, a Skype message, or, you calling me, email, whatever the case may be, just to say, hey, I'm checking on you, to let me know that I'm not alone in this, whether it be emotionally or whatever the case may be. Same thing with other people. I don't want anybody ever to feel like they are alone, or those who feel like they don't have the support around them. Hopefully you take these videos as a way to say that you have some type of support system. So, if you ever wanted to reach out to me or anything like that, by all means, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting, again, videos, just talk about my story and things that I'm going with. For the most part, this is part 8, I believe. For the most part, 1 through 7, I talked a lot about everything that I've gone through, or, up until present day. That was my backstory. But going forward, again, just still talking about the things that I'm going through or have gone through. There's still some things that I need to address. But again, this is the perfect time, in my opinion. I felt like I've gone through, parts 1 through 7, and I need to stop and take time and show my appreciation to my entire support system. But again, my number one supporter, I say, is my husband, for sure. He does everything in his power to make sure that I'm happy, make sure I'm comfortable, make sure I have whatever it is that I need. And, you know, I call him my matrimonial warden. And the only reason why I say that is because whenever something is wrong, I may not always want to tell him about it, but he can spot it. And he tells me, you need to sit down. He makes sure I sit down. He makes sure I take the time that I need. You know, he'll fuss me out sometimes if he sees that I'm not feeling good or I haven't felt good for the last couple of days. I usually try to push through. So, okay, well, I have to go to work. I have things that I have to get done. And, you know, I don't want to let my team down or anything like that. But he has to tell me, stop. You need to take the time that you need. You need to listen to your body. He reminds me of things like that. He reminds me every day that I'm not a burden in any way. And when I say I'm a burden, I feel like that, like, say for instance, starting summer of 2018, I started to have all this really bad abdominal pain and things like that. And finally, up to March of 2019, the last time it happened, I literally suffered in silence for like almost a whole day. I refused to call my husband and tell him that anything was wrong or that I was in all this pain, because I did not want to be a burden to him. But again, he got upset because I should have told him. But he does these things to make sure that I know I am not by myself. He is always there. He's always going to be there in whatever capacity that I need him to be there. So for that, I definitely appreciate him for doing that as well. My daughter, sometimes she does things and she doesn't even know it, but you know, it's appreciated. Um, Sometimes she just lets me know, Mommy, I know you're tired, and she'll just come and lay in the bed with me and we'll watch TV or something like that. And it's small things because I recognize that she recognizes that I'm not feeling good. Sometimes she don't get it. And it's one of those days where I'll be like, let's call you granny, let's call you nana or somebody. They need to come and get you because this ain't working today. But again, there are times where she realizes that I'm tired and she'll, you know, ask me, do I want breakfast or do I need anything or something like that. So definitely appreciate it. Again, my husband, my parents, my in-laws, my siblings, my cousin, the co-workers, some friends. When I say siblings, that also includes my best friend, my daughter's godmother. You know, she's helpful as well. So again, I just want to take this time to say thank you to my entire support system. I want to reiterate to those people who have support systems as well, make sure you show your appreciation to them. And it's not just about what they are doing for you. You also need to make a very conscious effort to be a support system to those that are around you as well. I don't ever want them to feel like I'm taking advantage or anything like that, or I don't want anybody to think that you're trying to take advantage. Again, because my family and everybody around me knows that anytime you need me, just call me, and it is what it is. I have no problem helping out whenever I can, you know, whether it be you need your kids to come over my house. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. They can come over my house. They keep my daughter entertained anyway. They can go downstairs and play music as loud as they want, do whatever. I don't really care because I just know the house is locked up, alarm set. They're having their fun. Everybody's safe. But again, I don't ever want anybody to feel like anybody's been taken advantage of. And I appreciate everything you do. If you ever need me for anything, again, never hesitate to give me a call. Support systems are important. They work both ways. And again, I just want to show my appreciation to everybody, even those who are supporting from a distance, whether it be you subscribing to this channel, which I appreciate, you just watching the videos. Again, if it can help you the way it's helping me, then my videos have served its purpose. I'm getting more and more comfortable making these videos as time goes on. So, again, yes, I want to say thank you to everybody. So, until next time, deuces.